Well, today's discussion is going to give you ideas about how you can put together a roadmap for instant payments, ideas on where to start, and lessons learned along the way. I'm so excited to introduce to you two of our participants on the FedNow network and really hearing from them and their experiences so far on the network. So, joining us today from Citizens Alliance Bank was at 17 locations in Minnesota and Montana is Amber Johnson, who runs the payment services there. Now, this is a farming country, and as a result, many of your customers have seasonal income. Already, your customers have sent and received almost $1 million on the network. Amber, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you provide a little bit about your customer base or what's unique, their unique needs?
Absolutely. We have over 123 years of experience standing behind our customers, communities, and again, it's just all about the relationships and building trust. As you mentioned, we have our 17 branches in the communities, West Central Minnesota, Western Montana, and we want to offer that genuine relationship banking to be personalized, keep it local, and then rooted in the values that people want and deserve. Our customers are our heart of us, small business owners, family farmers, neighbors who've lived here for generations, valuing that handshake, familiar face, a bank that knows them by name. So we offer obviously the online services. So a lot of our folks do utilize our online services as well. But because we're mostly in the rural areas, we understand that the needs are a little bit different. And that's why we focus on that personalized service, always looking for new ways to grow and innovate. And again, reason for FedNow. So whether they're walking through our doors or, they're logging in from home, we want to make that banking feel genuine, and what they deserve.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Dan is president and CEO of Alaska Air Group Credit Union, together with Shannon Jennings, who runs the member services. You've enabled FedNow instant payments for your members to send and receive over $1.2 million on the network. Your credit union serves employees of Alaska Airlines and Hawaii Airlines, as well as a few others. Tell us a little bit about your membership base.
Oh, thank you, Stephanie. Yes, our membership based, they're all across the United States. Obviously Alaska flying to all 50 states, or nearly all 50 states, and having that membership everywhere. So we need to reach them, and we only have two branches. One here in SeaTac, where Alaska Airlines corporate headquarters is located, which is right near Seattle, Washington, and then another branch up in Anchorage, Alaska. So our members are all across the US, so we need to provide them services that they can access, online, and FedNow is a really good solution for our members. And so that's what intrigued us. And I know there's some other solutions out there, but we felt very good about FedNow and the solutions it provided for instant payments.
Excellent, thank you. You often don't think about a financial institution based in Alaska having that nationwide reach, but I love seeing that, and I think it's kind of a sign of the time. Dan, I'm going to stay with you and Shannon for a minute and talk about what use cases you targeted for instant payments transactions, and what are your plans for the future.
Well, for us, we targeted initially pretty much our main membership. We have consumer. It's pretty much consumer based. We don't have any business accounts or things of that nature, and we're a closed field of membership. So there's no real businesses at all, business accounts. So it's all membership based, and so allowing our members to freely move their money back and forth through their own personal accounts. Whether they have an account here or Wells Fargo, et cetera, be able to move those funds easily. Also, for strategic wise, down the road as FedNow continues to grow and it becomes more adopted within other platforms, possibly even adding for funding of loans and things of that nature. With our members all across the United States, and maybe getting an auto loan, let's say in New York, and funding that auto loan, I see FedNow as being a really good quick solution so we can retain that loan and then and help out that member and get the funds to fund the loan right away. That's the strategy for us, and we really trust FedNow and the Fed. I think, out of all the providers out there that have some similar solutions, we feel the strongest that this is the safest route for us to go in long term.
I love that auto loan use case. That's really fantastic. Amber, how about you? What are some use cases that you started with and where you're going?
Sure, yeah. So similar to what Dan had mentioned, we're focusing on, making it easier for those, consumers, sending the money, faster, hassle-free, because that's what they're expecting. That's just kind of where the payment industry has gone. And since so many of our customers, we have small business owners, so hopefully shifting gears to better support, them and helping them thrive a little more.
Nice, I love that. I have a soft spot in my heart for small business, so I love hearing that. All right, so Amber, let's stay with you for a minute. I'm wondering if you could share a little bit about your experience working with the Federal Reserve on the new payment rails. Were there any benefits to working with the Fed that surprised you or made the process easier than you anticipated?
Definitely partnering with the Federal Reserve has been a great experience. From day one, they've been there through it all. Definitely engaged, transparent, genuinely focused on helping us succeed with instant payments. I guess what stood out the most would be just the constant and consistent in communication. We had step by step instructions throughout, and just made it easy.
Oh, that's excellent. Shannon, as the owner of member experience, I suspect that you may have some words of wisdom here too. How was your experience onboarding into the FedNow network, and any insights there about your experience?
Thank you, Stephanie. The Fed was a partner that we already worked with. So leveraging the Fed for this particular rail was easy. We already had the relationship. So it was very smooth, very little paperwork. We were actually almost surprised at how easy it was, pleasantly surprised. So um, it was a good partnership and it's easy to use.
Glad to hear that. One of the strategies for FedNow was to create a world-class onboarding experience. So glad to hear that. So Dan, maybe I'll turn to you for this next question. Let's talk about your marketing strategy when you launched FedNow. Were there big budget marketing going on here? Did you take out an ad in the Super Bowl? How did you communicate out to your members about this new ability, and what advice would you give to other financial institutions that are looking to support instant payments?
Oh, great question, Stephanie. And yeah, I mean, definitely been really cool to have an ad in the Super Bowl. It's something we pondered, very no, just kidding. But we're a small credit union, just a little over 100 million, and we're a closed field. So, no, not anyone can just join our credit union. So our marketing approach was maybe a little bit different than a lot of other banks or credit unions, that might be community based. And so, we did a soft launch. We just wanted to get it out there, available, and kind of word of mouth initially. And after a few months, then we started to promote it via our website, social media, our statements, and just in our day-to-day engagement with our members, especially as our members were reaching out to us, and let's say they had a small wire or some other things that they were in the process of doing, and we're like, "Oh, did you hear about Instapay? This might be a lot easier. Why don't you go ahead and try it out? You don't have to, process a wire, and there's some costs associated with that. Here, there's a nice, easy solution with no cost." So as we kind of promoted it that way, as well as with some advertising, internally with our membership, it took off, and so yeah, we're today at the 1.2 million or so and change of total transactions. So it went off real well, and have a great team here at the credit union. Engaging our membership every day and pointing out those solutions, and obviously, It's a Pay was a great solution for a lot of our members.
That's excellent, and I love that kind of grassroots approach and kind of taking a step-by-step approach to that, right? Not you don't have to jump off the deep end of the ocean to really go big and make a big splash out of it. You can kind of, get your experience under your belt and kind of slowly ramp up from that. So great,
Yeah.
great insight there. Amber, how about you? What was your marketing strategy and helping to educate your customers about the new services that you're offering?
Sure. Again, very similar to what Dan explains. So we didn't roll out, any big marketing, make a big splash of it. No flashy campaigns, as he mentioned, no Super Bowl ads or anything. But instead, our customers found it on their own organically, just by using our digital banking tools, that they already rely on every day. So our main focus was, keep it simple. Give people, more flexible ways to move money, make it more of a natural part of their everyday experience. And I guess, for those, financial institutions that are looking to join FedNow, I guess it's just important that their teams really understand how it works, and why it matters. When staff gets it, they see the value, and it's much easier for them to help customers, talk about the services with confidence, and troubleshoot for the customers, and just make an overall, better experience for them.
I love that both of you have shared stories about, just pointing to customers and members about how to make it easier on themselves, maybe be able to solve problems for themselves without, and quickly take care of some things. Amber, when we were talking earlier, you shared a story about a small business owner who needed to make a critical monthly payment, but unfortunately, this person, they had a situation happen where they were unable to send that transaction via traditional means. It ended up after cutoff times for other payment rails. And so Citizens Alliance was able to take care of this small business with FedNow. I wonder if you could tell us how you think about user experience for customers in your online and mobile banking.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we're just here to make banking easy. it's it's we live it day to day, but our customers don't. So, we had the chance to integrate with FedNow, to our digital banking, into mobile app. We jumped at it, and again, keeping it simple. I guess I maybe I'm oversaying that, but it's the simpler the better. And again, when it matters most for our customers.
Mhm. Sometimes making it simpler is actually harder to do. So that's no small feat to do that. Dan and Shannon, I wonder if you have perspectives about how you thought about that user experience for your members.
We chose to use our online banking platform's integration with FedNow because we wanted the integration to be seamless and easy for our members. So we're using Typhone's Payfinia platform, and it's seamless and easy. It's within the app, and the integration is good. It's a look and feel that our members are familiar with, so it is easy. It does need to be easy if your members are going to use it. So that was a strategy that we focused heavily on.
Nice. Shannon, I want to stay with you and share a little bit, a common question that I get a lot for financial institutions that are thinking about sending is, gosh, how are you managing liquidity? Right. So I'm just wondering if you have, how you think about managing liquidity and then how you maybe have found, or if you have found operational efficiencies by leveraging FedNow.
We went live with both send and receive, which is unique, we've found. And we've also found that while we do have money that leaves, these are funds that we're no longer seeing via other methods. So if the funds that we see leaving via FedNow are funds that members would have transferred into their other financial institutions anyway. And because they're able to do this themselves without having us as the stop break, it's been easier for us. And our members who operate on a 24/7, 365 schedule with the airline can take care of their business when it's best for them to take care of their business. And they don't need to leave messages for us or voicemails or wait for our open hours. They're able to seamlessly and easy move the money that they would have requested to be moved via other rails. So the fact that money is moving, I would say that if you take a look at how the cash is moving and how your members actually use their accounts, you will see that it all evens out in the end. That's what our experience has been. But our members do appreciate that ease and convenience of doing banking when it's convenient for them to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really great insight about your membership and how um, their lives and work and how they just everything about them. They're not just 8 to 5, and so they really do need that flexibility just based on where they are in the world. So quite interesting. Amber, how about you? How are you managing liquidity and any insights around operational efficiencies that you've observed?
Managing liquidity is again an important key priority, especially when you're moving funds real time. Overall, because we're focusing on a relationship banking, we're slowly working those customers that are showing interest in the new services. So transaction volume is increasing gradually, giving us the opportunity to, adapt over time. Unlike with Dan and Shannon, we started with receive only, and kind of got a taste for it a little bit, and then added in the send. But again, it's um, from the operational standpoint, FedNow really, changes the game, and unlike the traditional payment rails, and again, Shannon said it too, that you have limitations. You have those, weekend hours, holiday hours, and FedNow is just always on. So our customers can send and receive those payments anytime. And because it's backed by the Federal Reserve and are the customer's bank, it's safe, secure option for our customers, and they can trust it, without having to turn to, the other guys.
All right, excellent. Um, okay, so let's get into final round here. Dan and Shannon, I'll start with you guys. Are there any key learnings or advice you would give to other financial institutions who want to adopt FedNow?
I guess for me, I'd say go for it. I think the adoption, like everyone said since the beginning, I think it was very easy to work with the Fed and for us too, working with the Fed as well as our partner Typhone and Payfinia, both worked really well, got it launched. And I say go for the send and the receive, offer that full solution to your members. It will create a strong relationship. If and as Shannon mentioned, those transactions would have happened nonetheless, and that's what we've experienced. In fact, we've had increased deposit growth overall, and so that's been great. And I don't know, Shannon, you want to add a few things?
I would say that don't shy away from implementation based on your size. We have 16 employees, and we were able to implement the service at both send and receive. So you really can do it regardless of the size of your institution. And we wear a lot of hats here at the credit union because we're so small. And if we can implement it with our size of staff, it's definitely something that any organization should be able to tackle.
Those are really great feedback. One of the things that I hear a lot from lessons learned when I talk to financial institutions is those who came in as receive only first, which is quite common. They really wish they would have done it as a single project. So I love that you boldly leaned in to see what's happening there. Amber, how about you? What lessons learned or advice would you offer out to financial institutions considering coming into the
hmm Definitely, if you're thinking about joining the network, it's always a good idea, to check out the user interface. I think I've said it before, that that overall experience that you're providing to the customer is definitely important. You want to make sure that the customers know how to use it, and they there's kind of a standard that's set for these types of payments, and so set that expectation early. Especially with the competition that's that's out there. And just again, that's it's upfront communication can go a long way with your customers.
So both of you had really interesting customer and member opportunities here. You had your membership of the Alaska Air Group scattered to the winds, literally, and operating in a 24-hour world. And Amber, you had a situation where you had a lot of rural customers who were trying to take care of business and take care of what they need to take care of, and not always so convenient to stay within that, traditional banking hours. And especially when you think about seasonal workers and other kinds of unique use cases there. So I love hearing that you've both leaned into who your customers and members are. You're really thinking about what do they need in order to be successful, and how can you create a wonderful experience for your members and customers to really thrive, and turn to you and build out that loyalty and that commitment and dedication to community financial institutions. Well, what a pleasure to connect with you today. It's been a joy to hear about what each of you are doing. And I love that you are approaching it from different perspectives, that you started out differently, and that you continue to evolve and shift and think about this in very different ways. And I think that's what is so exciting to me about instant payments and FedNow, and that you are really reimagining what it means to be in the community banking space to create that really compelling experience for your customers and members. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. We're looking forward to continuing the conversation.